What's up, everybody? It's Soren here on Unique Access, and today we're joined by McKinley Ave. Thank you for coming through, sir.
Man, thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, man, and McKinley just dropped this new project, Did Dirt to Lay Pavement. Make sure you check it out if you haven't already. So McKinley, man, this is a very interesting album title. It's not in the modern era, we don't have this many kind of, what does that mean, album titles? So
yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know one person or one, say corporation or anybody that hasn't did a little bit of dirt.
Okay.
For the greater good, you know what I'm saying? So and it doesn't always have to be violent, always have to be crazy, but I think everybody's had to do a little, you know what I mean, a little fuckery to get ahead.
To get where they're going.
To get where they're going. So I had to do a little dirt to lay the pavement, you know what I'm saying? So that's basically what the album is about.
Yeah, and one of the songs on there is Feds.
Feds,
which ties very nicely into the topic.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
For that song in particular, explain how you got the idea for the concept to really want to write about that and explore that part of what's going on.
Well, I was looking, I see a lot of shit on the internet, and I see how fools was putting their money and they're exploiting their drugs and everything on Instagram, on social media, as if the feds don't have a whole division that sit there and just monitor the internet and what's going on the internet. So I decided to write a record about, about that, you know what I'm saying? To kind of wake up some of these cats, let them know that ain't what you do, you know what I'm saying? Hustling need to be, real quiet.
That's called hustling backwards, because when you like snitching on yourself, it's bad business.
Definitely,
I would say.
So that's how Feds came up, you know what I'm saying? By me seeing all this foolery on the internet and people actually going to jail about it,
Right.
And even on some of these records.
And on the album, one of the things I appreciated about it was that it's aspirational in a lot of ways, as far as like wanting to do better, wanting to strive and achieve certain things, and about actually working. And like 100 bands, I think fits into that as well. So with that song, you got some collaborations on there, but you also are talking about like striving to get, bigger things or to see a bigger picture.
Exactly. It's like I say on the regular, 65, 75, 85, 95. So I was telling you how I started out with this much, and by accumulating and by just hustling and keeping myself in the mix, was able to come up with this much, you know what I mean? And
right.
Got young Dolph on it, who's another independent hustler who's definitely serious about his craft and is taking his own money and putting it into his music. And Zoey, Dollaz, another independent artist that's out there getting it in, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I ended up coming up with that record.
And for someone like yourself that's been around a while as an artist and also as a producer, what do you see being around these like more emerging and younger artists that you've seen, like kind of how their hustle is versus how the hustle was like 10 years ago or whatever when you were doing big production? And
well, the hustle back then was kind of controlled by kind of the machine, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So you could only hustle so much, you know what I mean? You could only do so much. Now, these youngsters is taking their whole career in their own hands, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're paving their own way, they're driving their own cars, they're doing their own things, and actually executive producing their own records. So that's kind of like where I, fit into this whole thing. It was good to come from that era where you had the managers and the agents and the label who kind of babysat you and put you through the whole, funnel you through the whole system, and now it's kind of left up to you because the whole A&R thing is gone now. You got to come in the door ready. So that's kind of where I'm at now with it. And
I think too, to that point, you have one of, if not the biggest group right now on the album, which is the Migos with the Dark Side record.
Yeah.
So I think that one, in addition to being a great song, the thing that I like about it is that it shows your kind of ability to adapt and evolve and be with like the biggest artists around right now. So for you, having worked with and done so much work with so many people with Dub C, King T, etc.
Exactly.
Now being able to kind of switch it and not only be from a different coast and a different region, but a different era. What do you think has enabled you to kind of make that type of transition and still be able to make it happen?
Actually, by keeping myself in the grain of hip hop, by going out to the clubs, hanging out, in the studio with the young producers, and also being aware of how the cadence of the flow has changed.
Right.
And staying abreast of that and listening to how the rhythmic patterns have changed in hip hop, and just, you know, and practicing it and putting it down on paper, you know what I mean? And catching a vibe. It ain't too much now about, it used to be about lyrics and about really just, you know, getting your point across, and it's still about that, but now it's about a vibe. So it's just about kind of going in there and capturing the moment and shit. So I kind of kept that in mind, and just looking at the youngsters and remembering that I can still get my message across. I just have to consider the cadence and change up with the youngsters and shit and keep the flow to where the kids are like it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so that's where I went with it.
That's what it's all about. And with the kids also you have the women. So with the Needing Me record, I thought that was interesting too, kind of looking at a different side of the game. I don't think that gets as much exposure. So for you, what made that important?
Well, every hustler gotta have a real queen behind them, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no queen, you ain't no real hustler, because you gotta have an extra pair of eyes watching your back at all times. So that's where me and just Brittany came in and kind of laid that down, and we had Bellinger come in and do the hook. So that was dope, and he's definitely a, you know, R&B hustler. He's definitely getting out there and hustling his craft, and so is just Brittany. So that worked perfectly. We got in, and that marriage was instantly a big record, you know.
So obviously hustling is a major theme throughout this project, and it's important to you with your Hustle Zombies enterprise that you have there.
Yeah, we definitely gotta rep Hustle Zombies, you know what I'm saying?
So why is hustle so important to you?
Shit, I mean, you know, there's, you know, faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world, you know, but if you don't get your ass up and actually move towards your goal, it'll never happen. So, and the zombies came because we up all night. We never sleep, so we hustle like zombies, you know, from 24 to 24. So, you know, that's how I came up with the Hustle Zombies. But hustle's definitely a big part of my life, you know what I'm saying? Keeps me alive, keeps me young, and, you know, keeps me healthy, you know what I mean?
Keeps you moving, man.
Hell yeah.
Well, there it is, McKinley Ave. Brand new project, Did Dirt to Lay Pavement.
Go
in stores now, online, everywhere, worldwide. Make sure you check it out. Appreciate you coming through, sir.
Appreciate you,
Always a
Soren,
pleasure.
Man. Definitely.
Unique access, McKinley Ave.